Everything at half price from 2nd November to 31st December. Visit our showroom at Panasar Center, Mombasa Road, opposite Airtel.
Looking really good.
Do you own land or property in Nairobi? Hurry and clear your outstanding land rates. We have extended the 100% waiver on land rates up to 15th November 2020. So, collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay today only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection accounts at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures. Terms and conditions apply.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu ya kizidi, muone daktari.
Welcome to Good Life, where we are all about you. And when we say you, we mean all of you, including the little ones. We're all about ensuring you feel better and healthier, so you enjoy every moment with the ones closest to you. A smile on your face is what we're about. That's why you'll always be welcome back to Good Life pharmacies across Kenya with the same smile on every visit. Good Life. We're all about you.
This is NTV.
Good evening. I'm grateful you chose NTV Weekend Edition, and I certainly hope you've had yourself a rejuvenating Sunday. Here's what's coming up.
Tonight, no cheer at Quivers nightclub along Thika Road as police go to war with COVID-19 and the rule breakers.
Makalau walikuja before time na tulikuwa tumeclear. All the customers walikuwa wamesha left by saa 2 walikuwa shaenda.
Nilipigwa vibaya sana hapa hivi hadi nimefura hapa.
Also tonight, it's Joe time. America's choice and the consequences for Kenya and the world.
Point is for us is to look at this relationship from a reciprocal standpoint.
Plus, politicians still pulling in different directions.
I don't want to preempt anything.
And in fact, if there's a place to discuss BBI I want to submit, is actually in church.
It's the bridges that divide. And also tonight, we are going below ground for a tunnel vision of some World War II secrets. What mysteries lie beneath?
There's a possibility that actually this tunnel was actually constructed by the British for security reasons.
This is Weekend Edition with Olive Burrows.
My co-pilot tonight is David Agondoa. He will be our sign language interpreter. We begin tonight with a look at the COVID-19 situation in the country, and 719 more people tested positive for the virus out of a sample size of 4,732, which makes for a positivity rate of 15.1%. This now scales up the total national count to 62,488. From the new infections, 685 are Kenyans, while 34 are foreigners. 451 are male and 268 female. The youngest is a 5-month-old infant, while the oldest is 81 years old. Nairobi still has the highest number of infections with 336, followed by Mombasa with 84, Busia 50, Kiambu 45, and Turkana 33. Sadly, 8 more patients have succumbed to the virus, and the national death toll now stands at 1,111. On a positive, 912 more patients have recovered to bring the total number of recoveries to 41,931. Police officers on night patrol to enforce the COVID-19 rules last night broke up a party at the Quivers Lounge and Grill along Thika Road. Dramatic CCTV footage shows the moment the officers, armed with clubs, quite literally went to war with the virus, the rule breakers and property at the club. The establishment accuses the officers of using excessive force and damaging property, even though the police officers hold they were operating past time. Helen Aura with that dramatic turn of events.
Saturday, 10th November, revelers had thronged the Quivers Lounge and Grill along Thika Road for a good time and one final fling before the curfew kicks in. But in the last moments of freedom and just the closing time for bars, police officers broke up the party. Police claimed the club was operating outside the legal hours. The officers went on the rampage.
Wakatuvunja glass, wakachapa kila kitu, mpaka tian, vitu zote system, wakavunja. Sisi tulikuwa ikabidi sasa tulale pale ndani, tukajizuia. Walipiga mpaka mabouncer.
Some of the members of staff were also not spared with their wrath.
It's very bad because they've caused a damage of around 600,000 here. They've even ruined the utensils at the kitchen. Walikuwa wanatupiga pia sisi. Uhuru atuangalie. Time pia tuongezee kidogo.
The staff at the establishment claim police came at around 8:30 p.m., which was 30 minutes before closing time.
Makalau walikuja before time. Na tulikuwa tumeclear. All the customers walikuwa wamesha left. By Sambili walikuwa shaenda.
At around 8:30 there were no customers here. So the police wali come around 8:40. Kulikuwa tuna workers wana clear bills.
But this CCTV footage shows it was just a few minutes past 9 p.m. the time bars and restaurants are required to close to stem the spread of COVID-19. They claim they have reported misconduct to the part of police officers to the authorities, but no action has been taken so far. Helen Aura, NTV.
What do you think? Two wrongs don't make a right. Share your thoughts on the @NTV Kenya handle on Twitter. My handle is @Burrows. To matters politics now, and President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga may be going into overdrive as they popularize the BBI agenda. The two leaders are expected to meet with governors in Naivasha this week in a bid to win them over. NTV's senior political reporter Kennedy Muredi takes a look at the moves on the chessboard against the calls for and against constitutional reforms.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM party leader Raila Odinga have embarked on a series of activities aimed at popularizing the BBI report and get as many people as possible behind the document. On Tuesday, the President and Odinga will have a session with governors in Naivasha as a follow-up of last week's meeting between the ODM leader and the governors at a high-end hotel in Nairobi. NTV understands the County Assembly's Forum chairperson and some influential MCAs from the 47 counties have been invited to the meeting in an effort to enlist the support of county assemblies. The duo have in the past week met friendly political party leaders, including Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi, in an effort to secure their support.
All I can say is that the meeting took a very positive note. It was chaired by the President himself, and the spirit in which he conducted it, I think, was critical, because this came out as a situation where it's a listening process.
The meeting between political leaders and President Kenyatta, as well as those he has planned for the coming weeks, are meant to build consensus, as it is believed that opening the document right now will open a Pandora's box.
The spirit of the meeting was very positive. And if the spirit of that meeting is positive, then we look forward to everybody closing ranks.
Deputy President William Ruto has been calling for amendments to the document, but some of the president's allies fear these calls may have already sullied the waters. At Wednesday's meeting with political leaders, the president thus implored the leaders to rally their bases.
The right end that went to Ephraim, go to him.
Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka toured Kajiado County, where he called on residents to support the document and have the church spearhead the conversation.
And in fact, if there's a place to discuss BBI I want to submit, is actually in church. Because this is a document that carries this nation. This is not politics.
If you look at the BBI, the Prime Minister will come from the National Assembly. So will Uhuru go back to Katundu to run for presidency, for MP, for him to be a Prime Minister? Please, wacheni kudanganywa.
We have moved successfully from tribalism to a hustler versus, I don't know, the others are called what, dynasties. And it would be very unfortunate for this country to be divided in two. In fact, I argue that you're better off dividing people in 46 different ways than dividing them in two ways.
BBI iko sawa sawa. Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, siku ile ulituambia umeisoma. Kama wewe ni senior counsel ukiwa ushaisoma, sasa mimi ambaye sijui maneno ya sheria, sasa nitatafuta tena mwingine.
But even as the referendum talk gains traction, ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi says this should not form the basis of another 2022 coalition if history offers any lessons.
Once the referendum is over, whichever way it goes, the political formations for 2022 will then be seen after. The formations around a referendum do not necessarily become the same formations in a general election.
Kennedy Muredi, NTV.
Let's switch focus to the U.S., where celebrations continue to erupt across a number of cities following the election of Joe Biden as the 46th president. Biden made his maiden speech as president-elect, an address largely centered on unifying the nation, battling the COVID-19 pandemic and improving race relations on the back of a cliffhanger election that caught the attention of the world.
I sought this office to restore the soul of America, to rebuild the backbone of this nation, the middle class, and to make America respected around the world again. I'm a proud Democrat, but I will govern as an American president. I'll work as hard for those who didn't vote for me as those who did. Let this grim era of demonization in America begin to end here and now.
The change from Donald Trump to Joe Biden comes at a critical time when Kenya and the U.S. are negotiating the terms of a free trade area. If it sees the light of day, it will be the first such arrangement between the U.S. and a sub-Saharan African country. What does the future of bilateral trade ties look like for the two countries in view of the incoming administration? Julian Zaboko takes a look.
With trade flows valued at just over 100 billion shillings, Kenya has a lot to gain or lose depending on who assumes the office of the President of the United States. This bilateral ties gained currency when outgoing U.S. President Donald Trump and his Kenyan counterpart Uhuru Kenyatta kick-started negotiations towards the establishment of a free trade area, the first such relationship between the U.S. and a sub-Saharan African country.
Kenya and the United States of America have today formally entered into negotiations that will culminate in a historic free trade agreement, which will allow duty-free access for Kenya into the U.S. market.
With the change of guard in the U.S., however, some pundits see the likelihood there could be a slowdown in engagement such as the free trade area, which has been argued to be skewed in favor of Kenya at the expense of other countries in the region.
What Trump has started doing here was very dangerous because they have singled out Kenya. And they completely ignore the rest of East African community. If you look at our trade deals right now, we benefit more from trading with the East Africa community than we're trading with the U.S.
At this point, Joe Biden's policy on Africa doesn't give much on what direction it is likely to point over the next 4 years. The policy is anchored on 3 pillars, namely asserting America's commitment to shared prosperity, peace and security in Africa, restoring and reinvigorating diplomatic relations with African governments and institutions such as the African Union, and finally, continuing with the Young African Leaders Initiative. Foreign policy pundits are calling for the development of a robust policy defining Kenya-US relations, which will transcend changes in administration.
The point is for us is to look at this relationship from a reciprocal standpoint. And we need to spell it out in a very clear short-term and long-term policy, irrespective of who come to the White House.
Julians Amboko, NTV.
They can take control of it.
In the same vein, former President Donald Trump's administration had advocated for far-reaching cuts to U.S. foreign aid. And while the country now awaits what foreign policy direction the new administration will take and hope that those policies will be right on the money, international relations experts believe that Kenya has to step up its standing with the West and work towards becoming more of a partner than a recipient of aid.
Billions of dollars from the United States have trickled down to Africa in the form of aid, particularly in health-related projects, with HIV and AIDS taking the lion's share. Foreign policy and defense expert Professor Noah Midamba, however, points out that the benefits of such generosity are not as clear-cut.
You can begin giving aid for health care, as we know, and then American universities will be heavily involved in providing services in front of us instead of Africans, universities involved in doing that. So the money comes in and the money goes back to America. And then whatever little we have is taken by corrupt means.
Kenya and the United States have been allies for years, but experts believe it's time that relationship evolved into one of mutual cooperation, where Kenya wasn't overly reliant on aid.
The partnership that Kenya has with the United States with regard to aid for HIV and AIDS, for example, was given strength in 2015 during the Obama administration. And many spectators are not expecting a big deviation from the policies under President Obama with Biden.
There's been Republican administration that were very committed to the development, the boost, for development to Africa than the Democratic administration. The only thing and the only trend that we have to watch is that this administration, and hopefully Kamala Harris administration that will follow it, will be much more inclined to working with us.
In its latest report, the USAID that receives most of the funding from the US federal government has committed 30.7 billion shillings towards HIV and AIDS care, 12.2 billion for emergency response, 6.3 billion for agriculture, and 5 billion for development, food aid and food security. The US has also sponsored various other projects, including some 4.9 billion for government and civil society to improve the democratic space by empowering young people.
Some level of accountability will be expected from the incoming president with regard to the recipient states of aid.
The US has also given Kenya 2.6 billion in aid to cover operating expenses, 1.7 billion for basic education, which is undergoing changes as the country adopts the CBC system. It has also given 1 billion for conflict, peace and security. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Racism and intolerance marked Donald Trump's presidency. Who can forget the contentious construction of a 2,000-mile border wall to keep Mexicans out of America? The disregard for the Black Lives Matter movement and in the wake of George Floyd's death, and worse, when Trump referred to African countries as depositories of human waste. He said shitholes. Gina Kiruri now looks at how Biden's win will affect race relations and immigration, particularly between Kenya and the US.
During outgoing President Donald Trump's tenure, some remarks remained unforgettable.
I'm asking for the vote of every single African-American citizen in this country. What do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. Mexico sends its people. They're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
But for thousands of immigrants living in the US, the most threatening comment came when Trump signed 3 executive orders on border security and immigration that undermined human rights. For Monica Masharia, a Kenyan living in the US with her family for the past 9 years, this was a disturbing time.
News was not anything to watch, nothing to look forward to. Hearing the president say that he doesn't want immigrants coming to America is sad, because America is full of immigrants. Everybody who's here came from somewhere.
The family moved to the US nearly 10 years ago and has lived through 2 presidencies. Biden's is the 3rd. Experts in international relations say that Kenya and other African nations may enjoy benefits from Biden's tenure, which they didn't during Trump's.
Donald Trump was a disaster to himself and to the United States, and then to the rest of the world. We shall not have that overt insult like the one Trump was known to have when he called Africa and the Caribbean countries depositories of human waste. We're not going to have that. There will be more camaraderie, backparting, and one-on-one discussions as mature people.
Professor Masharia adds that Biden's job will now be to cool the temperatures and restore confidence in the American system. He adds that Vice President Kamala Harris might also take special interest in visiting third world countries to heal the wounds left by Trump.
Kenya, in particular, will go out of its way to study Biden and his team, and some of them we think we know, but also the other forces that tend to influence policy towards Africa, racism being one of them.
Biden's presidency has reignited the hope that Monica and her family first had when they moved to the US, and that their children will experience an even better future.
I do want my kids to be raised in a country where they know they can be leaders if they want to, and their background will have nothing to do with that. My kids are Kenyan, but they're raised American. So I want them to know that they can go to Kenya and be fine. They can stay in America and still feel at home.
Gena Kerori, NTV.
I think after that, we all need a moment of calm. It's about that time in the hour when we take a few moments to breathe, and that is in the interest of our well-being. And for tonight's moment of calm, we are taking you to Japan. Being revealed to you now is Japan's Dragon Eye Lake, originally known as Kagami Numa. According to folklore, a young man turned into a dragon after drinking from a pool of water in the mountains and fell in love with a girl who had met the same fate. Banished to opposite sides of the mountain, he would fly across the mountain once a year to visit his beloved. Local residents believe it's that time in spring when the frozen lake melts into the shape of a dragon eye. If there was such a shape. I'm sure there's a scientific explanation, but I quite like the romantic version, don't you?
Fresh Fry Premium Cooking Oil now has a new look and an advanced spout and seal. Triple refined, zero cholesterol and natural vitamin E. Fresh Fry, always heart friendly. Now it's even more cooking friendly. Fresh Fry, the premium cooking oil for healthy living.
So vile nasema, wacha nikubatie statistics. Niko na gamia 1,500. Tunakuwa drapo gamia na kuwa 6,000. 2,000 natengeneza leather, natengeneza viatu, wallet, kibeti, nauza hapa, nabatia wewe 50%. Wacha niweke credit nikupigie.
Namna gani wewe? Hii mambo ya kuishiwa na credit kila saa. Come on. Nunua hiyo simu ya Vodafone. Calling fiber to fiber is 0 shillings per minute. And it is not expensive. Only 2,999 Kenya shillings.
Alo hali wa. Hata fadhali hiyo credit ikae ninunue simu basi.
Faibika leo na Vodafone for only 2,999 Kenya shillings. It will always be free to call fiber to fiber.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Hello, Susan. Yes, you. Holding that pack. I know you've been avoiding me because in the past I've made you uncomfortable. Maybe even caused you pain. But I want you to know that I have changed. For you.
Aye. What is this?
You can love me again if you're willing to give me another chance. Meet me at aisle 4. Hey, Susan.
It's lactose free.
know you love milk, and now there is milk that loves you. With Gold Crown lactose-free milk, you can enjoy the richness of natural cow's milk without any of the digestion discomfort. Gold Crown lactose-free, milk that loves you.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Answer's here. Yes. Wow, what a nice gift. I would definitely give this next time.
Carson's Baby Gift Pack, a carefully selected range of safe baby products with natural goodness, trusted for decades by millions of moms across Africa. Carson's Baby, the gift that keeps on giving.
We want you to die for this story. Not die, we take you to a mortuary.
For over a month or more, we were a team of 3 doing massage parlor story. It was pleasing, but...
What is a story?
Are you writing a book? What are you doing?
When devolution was introduced in the country, people are being bribed to kill stories.
Does journalism pay? Is it one of those careers that you're embroiled in the bigger name shallow pocket scenario?
Get your value-added plots today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pay-saters in real estate.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition, and the celebratory drums were not only beaten in America but also right here in Kenya. Yes, in Kogelo village in the county of Siaya, where some residents took to the streets moments after Joe Biden was declared the winner of the recent U.S. elections. Okokusa with a picture.
Carrying banners and waving twigs, the noisy group of exuberant villagers poured onto the streets, chanting and singing songs in praise of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and even the former U.S. President Barack Obama, who traces his ancestral roots here.
Kamala! Oi! Joe Biden! Oi! Obama! Oi! Kogelo! Oi!
Earlier, the residents had spent the better part of Saturday glued to their television screens as vote counting and tallying went on in America.
50 blood! Oh, you are the winner!
So we are very happy today, and what we can say in Kogelo, I particular, I'm very happy today for the Biden is going to get a very big challenge on Trump.
Kamala is of a descent of the people of color, and we are hoping that girls, the small girls, will learn from him. Okay. That is from her.
Okokusa, NTV.
Obama's relatives cannot be left behind. He's quite fond of referring to himself as a boy from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And a story he's told time and again on the campaign trail is that of his grandfather telling him to keep the faith and his grandmother telling him to spread it. A story he told again last night on being projected U.S. president-elect.
A grandfather of 7 now, the 77-year-old was born on November 20th, 1942 in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He was born to Joseph Biden Sr., a used car salesman, and Jean Finnegan. When he was 13, his family moved to the neighboring state of Delaware, where he later served as senator. Biden ran for the U.S. Senate for the state of Delaware in 1972 at the age of 29 and won on his first try. He served as a U.S. Senator for 37 years before taking on the job of Barack Obama's vice president in 2009. In that time, he distinguished himself in the area of foreign policy and was an outspoken proponent of tougher crime laws. This was the third time Biden ran for president, having made his first attempt in 1987 at the age of 45. He made his second attempt in 2007, but failed to generate much momentum as he was up against Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Biden's family life has been sweet and sour. He lost his first wife, Nelia Hunter, in 1972. Fresh off his win as a first-time U.S. Senator and a week before Christmas in a car accident. He also lost his 13-month-old daughter in the accident. He later lost his son Bo to brain cancer in 2015. Biden has been married to his second wife Jill since 1977, and together they have a daughter.
At 77, Biden has certainly lived an interesting life. Let's now take a closer look at the woman who will make history by becoming the first woman to take up the job of Vice President of the United States. Not only that, she will be the first person of color to take up the job.
Kamala Harris was born on October the 20th, 1964 in California to mother Shamala, who migrated to America to attend university at the age of 19, and where she met Harris's Jamaican-born father, Donald. Her mother went on to become a renowned breast cancer researcher and her father a Stanford economics professor. Harris, who attended high school in Canada after her parents divorced, returned to the US for college. Harris began her career in the Alameda District Attorney's Office in the early 90s before moving to San Francisco, where she became DA in 2003. In 2010, she became the first woman to be elected as California Attorney General. She became a senator representing the state of California in 2016. Harris is married to lawyer Douglas Emhoff and a stepmother to his 2 children.
Oh, what an inspiration. 2 women went whale watching out in California. I know it starts like one of those stories of 2 women walked into a bar, but no, they went whale watching. One of them is deathly afraid of sharks, but thought, what the heck? What's the worst that could happen? Get a load of this. A whale chasing a school of fish upended Julie and Liz's kayak. That was on Monday. Let's take another look at their encounter with the whale as we take a commercial break. We'll be back with more. Answer's here. Yes.
Wow, what a nice gift. I would definitely give this next time.
Carson's Baby Gift Pack, a carefully selected range of safe baby products with natural goodness, trusted for decades by millions of moms across Africa. Carson's Baby, the gift that keeps on giving.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
My primary school life was difficult, but my mom struggled and I managed to finish the class age 2016. I knew back in my heart that minus getting a scholarship, I couldn't make it for the high school. My friend told me all benefit of Wings to Fly, scholarship, school fees, shopping, transport. I knew that there's no any option to get the school fees. That's why I went to apply the scholarship. My mom was called back and told that Edwin got the scholarship. I knew it that my dreams would come to pass. 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic came, I was very, very worried about my KCSE, but Wings to Fly gave us light system and the radio that we will continue lessons with it. Now I can read at night and wake up very early in the morning, like 4, to go through my books. Before I got the scholarship, it was like darkness was before me. But when I got the Wings to Fly scholarship, light has come to my life, and I am sure that by God's grace, I will go to the best university in this world, which is Oxford, to partake medicine and surgery, and I can see my future being very, very good.
Medical Training College will hold its 88th graduation ceremony on December 3rd, 2020, virtually at KMTC Graduation Square, Nairobi from 10 a.m. Graduates must pay a graduation fee of $2,500 to National Bank. KMTC, training for better health.
How much?
Hii ni so.
hii ni 20 bob na hii ni so na zote ni the same size.
While other networks discriminate, sisi hatubagui, tuna serve everybody. Get to Bonga 10 and enjoy 100 minutes Airtel to Airtel. Dial star 544 hash. Not just for a few, but for every one of you. Airtel, the honest network.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Melissa? Mom, it's Dad's birthday today. I'm giving him a party just like he gives me.
Nothing makes a mother more proud. Here for others, she'll face even more germs and the risk of illnesses.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection. Just 1 cup of Dettol protects your home and family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition. And in the interest of those like my director Jackson, who was concerned that Liz and Julie, who we showed in that encounter with the whale, they did not get injured. They were not killed. It was not a Jonah type of encounter where they ended up in the belly of the fish. And Peke says it reminds him of Baby Shark, Baby Shark. So you can smile. It didn't end up too badly. Let's now venture below ground, shall we? And into a tunnel that is also a window to the past. Life in the World War II trenches are brought to life by this mystery tunnel in the heart of the eastern Mau forest in Mariashoni, Nakuru County. The tunnel, which is about 5 kilometers long, is said to have been the country's first ever bomb shelter for the British soldiers. However, investigations by historians into what purpose the tunnel really served are still ongoing. NTV's Bridget Ngada, who is braver than I, explored a part of it and tries to bring some of those mysteries above ground.
The majestic Mau forest, resplendent in her green canopy that stretches far and wide. It's beautifully mysterious, the indigenous trees touching Narok, Bomet and Nakuru to the east. In Mariashoni, in the eastern block of the Mau, the last of the minority Ogiek community. A community of hunters and gatherers colonize the forest and keep its deep secrets. A clearing on the edge of the woods reveals one of those best kept ones. A secret buried in the foothills of this idyllic landscape. A place of inky blackness where mysteries congeal and lurk out of sight. This secret passage lies forgotten below ground as life above churns along. Joseph Chemaina spent most of his youth marveling at this structure, which locals say was built during the World War II. They still don't know why.
Wenye kuchimba ndio walikuwa na jua kile alifanya naye, kwa sababu hakuna kitu tunaiona sasa tunaweza fanyia, kwa sababu hata wao wenyewe ama tuseme upande wa serikali ama foresti ama upande yoyote kwa serikali haikuweza kuchunga hichimo. Wakati iliisha tu ikawachwa hivyo.
So we've done just about a kilometer into these tunnels, and somewhat I feel like I'm traveling back into time. If you look around, there's wear and tear in parts of this tunnel. This is just the water action. I'm being told by locals that there is an underground river, and this tunnel is just sitting right underneath it. And so some parts of this tunnel, there's a lot of water action and also water erosion. There are also a lot of bats, and so hopefully we understand that this stretches for about 5 kilometers, but for now, yeah, there's a bat right there. So we're just walking and seeing and understanding possibly the story behind this tunnel.
The echoes of its secretive past still linger. Very few dare venture into the darkness, but those who do are sure to leave their mark. We stumble upon a freshly drilled hole on one of the walls. Locals say people sometimes come in here to search for valuables said to have been left behind by its builders.
Wazungu ndio walikuwa najenga, lakini wale wafanyikazi ni kama vile tulielezwa na wazee, ilikuwa wafungwa. Alikuwa anatoa upande wa Northeastern na Western na Nyanza. Kwa sababu sasa hii watu ilikuwa inaletwa kila mwezi kama watu 60, ikiija chini ni 40, na wengi waliweza kubariki kwa sababu hii wakati ilichimbwa hii shimo sasa alikuwa anaboromoka na anafungia chini watu. Kuna mambo mengi zimeshazungumziwa kuhusu hii shimo. Nasemekana kuna vitu ilifichwa, vitu kama bomu iliwekwa hapo ndani hata ya kuchunga ile vitu alivicha, kwa sababu tulijaribu kuongea na wazee lakini walisema hakuna kitu iliwekwa hapa.
The tunnel's roof drops lower the deeper the tunnel goes, and by this time our feet are almost knee deep in water. We have to turn back due to safety concerns. But those like Alexander Koech, who have ventured much further, say there are rooms which look like bunkers, with metal pipes piercing the ground above, and which perhaps acted as airways, providing ventilation to those sheltering below.
Kufika ile shimo ya mwisho, tunnel bado inasonga tu mbele kidogo, alafu mbele kuna kahole kubwa, kahole kama kanyumba kidogo. Then kwa hiyo nyumba iko na fereji ya maji, ni kubwa sana kama steering ya gari.
On the surface, two spaced out cylinder-like towers give the impression that these were access routes into and out of the tunnel. Further uphill, more metal pipes protrude from the ground, rusty and wasting away. The cement, too, that held this piece of architecture together is crumbling. This pool of water covers a collapsed section of the tunnel, which locals say caved in nearly 2 years ago. The secrets of this mystery world are still unknown, but according to historians, the tunnel offers little glimpses in the lives of those caught up in the World War II conflict.
The Italian prisoners of war were captured in Ethiopia and then they were scattered. And a number of them were brought to Kenya as laborers to work in preachers, to work in farms, to build the roads, to build the churches. And the British used them as cheap labor. So there's a possibility that actually this tunnel was actually constructed by the British for security reasons. But if you talk about the architecture, you look at the construction ability by the Italians. Those people were well trained, they were skilled.
Another theory that has been advanced is that it may have been built by the British government to protect the white settlers in Nakuru and the Rift Valley Highlands during the struggle for independence.
Elbagon, Njoro, Olenguruone was actually the crowd of Mamau. It is possible that the government or the government may have built the tunnel to secure the safety of the settlers. But again, and you know, for them in Njoro, they used to call it the small England. You know, if you look at Njoro, I mean, the weather, the climate is so good.
Locals, however, believe that they have much more to gain from what remains of the ruins that have been recognized by the National Museums of Kenya as possibly the country's first bomb shelter. But investigations into what purpose this tunnel really served are still ongoing. These tunnels stretch about 5 kilometers in that direction, and according to locals, they say that they've been here since the World War II era. They don't know the intention for the construction of the tunnels, but they say that this is a national heritage and it could be converted into a historic site and even invite a lot of tourists in this area. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Mariashoni, Nakuru County.
Thank you for that report, Bridges, and taking us down into the tunnel with you. It said faith can move mountains, and as the Chinese have proven buildings too can walk, an 85-year-old primary school has been lifted off the ground in its entirety and relocated using new technology dubbed the walking machine. Workers had to first dig around the building to install the 198 mobile supports in the spaces underneath. After the pillars of the building were truncated, the robotic legs were then extended upwards, lifting the building before moving forward. Over the course of 18 days and ending on October the 15th, the building was moved 62 meters to its new location. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Good.
Are you thinking of bringing light into your house? Think of Sumo Candle. Why Sumo Candle? It is non-drip, doesn't smell and has no smoke. It's giving you money value by burning for a long time, and it is also brighter. Any day, anytime, Sumo Candle is the best for you. Purchase Sumo Candle from the nearest shop at a pocket-friendly price. Always smile and walk with Sumo Candle from Rock Industries Limited. For inquiries, visit our offices at Ndume Road off Lungalunga Road, behind Carton Manufacturers near Sinai Stage. You can also talk to us through 0722 575 619 or 0736 028 181.
We all are looking for products to protect ourselves from viruses, but not all products protect us. Did you know that using Dettol soap and water protects against viruses? Many viruses are surrounded by an envelope with receptors that enable them to enter a human cell and cause infection. Dettol soap destroys the outer layer of the virus and effectively removes it. Protect your family from the spread of viruses with Dettol. Dettol cleans and is now tested and proven to be effective against COVID-19 virus. This has been Medivax for Dettol.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using Mortein Doom. Mortein Doom All Insect Killer provides protection in seconds. Not even a single mosquito is spared, because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Doom provides protection in seconds.
Fun and food go together beautifully at GMC Place. Enjoy our succulent meals in a serene setting with a varied choice of fun games for the little ones. Cup it up with a cuppa or a cocktail, all available to your taste. Discover the joy of a warm pool by diving into the Blue Oasis heated pool. Or at GMC Place, the fun never ends. Make your reservation today on 0701 560 560.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
How much?
Hii ni so.
Hii ni 20 bob na hii ni so na zote ni the same size.
While other networks discriminate, sisi hatubagui, tuna serve everybody. Get to Bonga 10 and enjoy 100 minutes Airtel to Airtel. Dial star 544 hash. Not just for a few, but for every one of you. Airtel, the honest network.
sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition. And now the general election in the U.S. this time round was unlike any other ever witnessed on account of the COVID-19 pandemic and the palpable tension between the Democrats and the Republicans to push their candidates over the top. Alex Mwangi reports on how the U.S. was able to come through it without any tangible cases of voter fraud, despite taking days to complete the vote count in some of the states.
It was always going to be a tough race for President Donald Trump as he attempted to defend his seat in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic and sharp divisions among the electorate. Early voting topped 100 million ballots this time around and accounted for more than half of in-person voting on election day. The unprecedented numbers led to the delays in counting in a number of the states, but the anxious electorate was kept in the loop of what was going on.
We have the numbers from 134 of the 159 counties, and guess what? Gabe didn't hit the sum on all these things yet, so we're going to have to take a second while he does that on live television, because that's the exciting television y'all came for today. All right. 13,012.
The Trump presidency has created a name for itself for the level of misinformation it provides. It was little wonder then when the president took to traditional media and also social media to peddle falsehoods about the election being stolen. Such was the egregious level of the push to create alternative facts on the elections that a reporter on Fox News, a station which has been described as Trump's mouthpiece, denied on live television that Republicans were being sidelined from observing the vote count.
Trump campaign has said that they wanted to have their poll watchers there, and that I guess they're being asked to provide evidence for something that they say they weren't able to even participate in or to be able to see. And so that's, I think, where they would say that needs to be rectified, if it could be.
That's not true. It's not true. It's just not true. The election poll watchers, they are called canvass watchers. Republicans have been in this room, in that room, where they're supposed to be, standing alongside with the Democrats.
That Biden had multiple routes to achieve the 270 electoral college votes required to clinch the presidency sealed Trump's fate. Observers maintain that Trump's legal challenge faces a tall order when it comes to the probability of overturning the will of the majority.
I do not see a major change happening with regard to the court cases based on probably tangible evidence on whatever claims are being made. So I think the writing may be on the wall.
Although vote counting is still going on 5 days after the polls closed, the integrity of the U.S. election system, as far as casting votes and tallying them is concerned, has held firm. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
Given we are heading into the sports news and Joe Biden is fresh off his U.S. presidential win, we thought we'd remind you of this. The 44th president of the United States, Barack Obama, hitting nothing but net while he was campaigning for his former vice president in Flint, Michigan earlier this month. All I have to say is silky. We'll be back after this break.
Whoa.
Walk off. That's what I do. That's what I do. Whoa. All net. All net.
Leo Safaricom wanasherehekea miaka 20 na wewe. Piga star 444 star 20 asi. Tumia shilingi 20 pekee utunukiwe 20 minutes na 20 MB.
We all are looking for products to protect ourselves from viruses, but not all products protect us. Did you know that using Dettol soap and water protects against viruses? Many viruses are surrounded by an envelope with receptors that enable them to enter a human cell and cause infection. Dettol soap destroys the outer layer of the virus and effectively removes it. Protect your family from the spread of viruses with Dettol. Dettol cleans and is now tested and proven to be effective against COVID-19 virus. This has been Medivax for Dettol.
Pata kila kitu upendacho kwa M-Pesa kupitia *334#.
Do you own land or property in Nairobi? Hurry and clear your outstanding land rates. We have extended the 100% waiver on land rates up to 15th November 2020. So, collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay today only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection accounts at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures. Terms and conditions apply.
Medical Training College will hold its 88th graduation ceremony on December 3rd, 2020, virtually at KMTC Graduation Square, Nairobi from 10 a.m. Graduates must pay a graduation fee of 2,500 to National Bank. KMTC, training for better health. In the Assistia Mitana Absa, the official banking partner of the EPL in Africa. Stand a chance to win 1 million Kenya shillings every month when you deposit into your Absa personal or business account. That's Absa. That's Africanacity.
Get to Bonga 10 and enjoy 100 minutes Airtel to Airtel. Upgrade to Bonga Plus 20 to get 100 free minutes Airtel to Airtel plus 10 additional minutes to all networks. Dial *544#. Not just for a few, but for every one of you. Airtel, the honest network.
We want you to die for this story. Not die, we take you to a mortuary.
For over a month or more, we were a team of 3 doing massage parlor story. It was pleasing, but...
What is a story? Are you writing a book? What are you doing?
When devolution was introduced in the country, people are being bribed to kill stories. Does journalism pay? Is it one of those careers that you're embroiled in the bigger name shallow pocket scenario?
Get your value-added plot today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pay-saters in real estate.
NTV Sport in association with Showmax.
Time for the sports news now, and Football Kenya Federation has urged the government to allow leagues to kick off under the Ministry of Health guidelines against the coronavirus. Premier League Governing Council released draft fixtures for the 2020-21 season, tentatively scheduled to kick off in November and on November the 21st. 2 national teams have already been in action, with FKF testing the players and staff.
Tumefanya vilivyo kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ya COVID-19 protocol tumeyashughulikia, kwa sababu hii mechi ndio maana unaona tuna fans kwa kiwanja. Tuko serious sana, kuanzia basi wanayotumia, social distancing, nguo wanazozitumia. Tunafanya kazi ya ziada kuhakikisha kwamba mambo yako sawa. Pale Safari Park pia wako na protocol. Kwa hivyo ukienda pale mambo ya kukaa pamoja na nini na mambo ya mask imefanywa vilivyo.
Hiyo story ya coronavirus imeaffect everyone in terms of fitness. Juu when imeoka wachezaji wengi wali lay off kwa sababu kulikuwa na hiyo footballing ban in almost all the countries.
Kijana saa zingine yuko sawa, lakini bila mazoezi haiwezi kuwa sawa. Nimeona nchi zingine kama zote wamerudi, nasi pia tupate nafasi ya kuwarudisha hawa vijana, ndio mambo yetu yawe sawa.
Former Kenyan international Mulinge Ndeto believes that Ulinzi Stars has what it takes to win the FKF Premier League title this season. Ndeto, who played for Ulinzi Stars as a defender, is currently the assistant coach. The Soldiers, who last won the league title back in 2010, open the 2020-21 campaign against newly promoted Vihiga United at Afraha Stadium on the 22nd of November.
Mimi naweza tu kuambia wale wachezaji wako kwa Ulinzi saa hii ni wakati wao, wako na changamoto na lazima wajue venye wata overcome. Siku zetu tulikuwa na changamoto zetu na tulingangana kulingana na uwezo wetu na tulikaa kama wachezaji na ofisi na tukajua makosa yetu ilikuwa wapi na tulitaka kuachieve. So mimi ningeomba saa hii current generation inaendelea saa hii au waweze kukaa chini wajikosoe, waangalie ni nini wanahitaji kwa hii maisha. So shida iko kwa wachezaji na hao tu wenyewe ndio wako na hiyo solution. So kwangu ni kuwapatia tu changamoto wa rise to the occasion.
Ulinzi Sharks handball team captain Alexina Ambani comes from the talented Ambani family. Alexina, who is the sister of former Kenyan international Boniface Ambani and Fred Ambani, has been working hard to keep the Ambani name high both at the national and club level.
I, coming from a sporting family, kwanza inahitaji kitu inaitwa discipline. Lazima ukuwe na discipline kwa mchezo yoyote. Ndio uweze kufika ile kilele ambayo niko saa hii as a national team player. Lazima ukuwe na discipline, lazima ujue kusikiza coach wako anasema nini, na lazima ukuwe na extra thing ya kupeana kwa wachezaji wengine na kwa timu yako. Ndio maana niko hapa, na pia unajua lazima nichunge jina ambayo ni the Ambani, siwezi liangusha hivi. So lazima niliweke pale juu penye pia mandugu zangu waliweka.
In the English Premier League, Leicester City beat Wolves 1-0 at the King Power Stadium. Jamie Vardy scored the only goal in the 15th minute from the spot before missing another penalty that Portugal keeper Rui Patricio saved.
Max.
Thank you for staying with us to the very end of NTV Weekend Edition. Myself and David Agundua say goodnight at this point, but I do wish you a blessed week ahead. Good night.
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay today only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection accounts at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
We want you to die for this story. Not die, we take you to a mortuary.
For over a month or more, we were a team of 3 doing massage parlor story. It was pleasing, but...
What is a story? Are you writing a book? What are you doing?
When devolution was introduced in the country, people are being bribed to kill stories. Does journalism pay? Is it one of those careers that you're embroiled in the bigger name shallow pocket scenario?
Get your value-added plot today by cash or through our installment plan. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Optiven Limited, the pay-saters in real estate. NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Hello and welcome to The She Word, the show where we discuss trending topics among women across Africa. Women like you and women like us. On today's show, we have Dr. Folusho Fowale, a medical doctor in the plastic surgery field in Nigeria.
Hello. As we say in Nigeria, how on a day? I'm in the business of making you look beautiful.
We also have Natasha Moray Kubo, Managing Director of Nanawax Kenya and an advocate for African fashion brands from South Africa.
Dumelang Sanbonani and Molweni. It's actually Natasha Moray Kubo.
Oh, I love